problem with eulogies. It's the same problem we have with panegyric. Anyone here ever read essays, poems from the 18th century? I'm pleasantly surprised. A lot of them were dedicated with panegyrics where the authors would write these long, elaborate statements about the merits of their sponsors. Problem with panegyrics, the problem with eulogies. If you read all these panegyrics before these great works of English literature, you would think that all the sponsors were basically the same person, just with different names, because it was always the same virtues. Here's my problem. If I were to give you a eulogy for my mother, I would falsify her. My mother was a person, a woman of parts. She was a force of nature in her prime. But she was not a plaster saint, nor was she a cartoon villain. So I want to talk a little bit she had her flaws, but her flaws were the source of many of her virtues. And her virtues sometimes entailed those flaws. So I want to share with you all 2 exchanges that I had with her within the last few months when we knew that she was declining, and she knew she was declining. And address how those reflect upon who she was and what her character was and why she will leave an enormous void. So, I recall, this is like 2 or 3 months ago, that my mother was getting increasingly frail. She was having to have more and more support, and just to get by in terms of basic functioning. And she complained to me about how she could no longer do things for herself. I pointed out to her, Ma, you've been doing things for other people and yourself your entire life. You are bloody 92 years old. You have earned the right. You should, when people come to help you, you should accept it with this attitude. I am asked to serve. She had a bit of a chuckle at that. Well, here's the thing. My mother spent her entire life at greater or lesser degrees of anxiety. And I trace this back to an incident that she often repeated to us about when she was in her teens, and her sister, my aunt, was a new infant. Her father, my grandfather, got into a traffic accident. His car was turned over upside down. And my mother always remembered that, but for the fact that she held on to her infant sister could have easily died. Her infant sister is now 80 and in remarkably good shape. But I think that had a couple enormous effects. First, she never was able to put aside anxiety. She was always a warrior, perhaps a bit both, actually, no pun intended. But, and I think she tended to be a bit skeptical about authority as a result. But also, if she was a warrior, if she was always anxious, she was always looking out for other people, as she had done instinctively in that moment for her infant sister. Now, another anecdote from just a couple months ago. At that time point, my mother knew that her kidneys were failing, she was conscious enough to know that she was losing it, that she had Alzheimer's, which for a woman of her considerable intellect was quite trying. To have worked on her mind for so long and have it betray her like that. But we were talking about death and the afterlife, and I had to point out, this was a couple months ago, that at that point there was a non-zero chance that I could predecease her. I'm a cancer patient. Fortunately, side note, I am now officially in remission, but I could not tell at that point. So I told her that I hoped to goodness that I would not predecease her. Not because I hold on to life so jealously. I am not afraid of death. I told her, no, my problem is this. If I predecease you, Mom, I'm going to have to be your tribute. I am going to have to go around the heavenly realms, find any archangel I can, get them to bend down and whisper in their ear, dude, you better shape up. Esther is on her way. Well, here's the thing. As I said, my mother was neither a plaster saint nor a cartoon villain. She was a woman of parts. In her prime, she could be a force of nature. You don't reprimand the lightning bolt or the hurricane for being discourteous. With my mother, you either had to hold your own or let her have her way. And in fact, in my youth, I had occasion to observe that as far as my mother was concerned, at that time in her life, there were only two kinds of opinions, hers and wrong ones. That said, she also taught me how to make arguments, how to support arguments. We had a whole table set up in the living room with reference books and an encyclopedia. And in fact, I think it was a turning point in my life when I was either in college or law school, when I was able to finally formulate and support an argument, and she did not change her mind initially, but she agreed that I had a valid argument. Mm-hmm. So, that very power of intellect and will, especially if she considered you someone who needed her protection, could be an incredible asset. Also, however, some people found her sometimes overwhelming. Her virtue and her flaw were one and the same. So, at this point then, I have to observe, she has predeceased me. And that means that if there are divine beings, archangels like Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, if they are in attendance, as they're supposed to be, over events like this. And I have to observe that, gosh, they must be really slacking on their jobs, because, wait, aren't they the ones that are supposed to ensure that the virtuous thrive and the evil and wicked are punished? Gosh, no. So here's the thing. My mother did not tolerate shirkers or slackers. So to you all, I have to say thank you for your coming here and listening to my little talk. And to them, I have to say, at this point, dudes, you better watch out. Esther is on her way.